Hello everyone. We are streaming Bughouse World Championship Challenger section knockout stage is round 1. We have Ferrarifan27 and Loch-and-Quay versus Ibrat and Barris. Ferrarifan and Loch-and-Quay have teamed up before in previous editions of the Bughouse World Championship. They've been warming up in the random pool here. So should be a fun match to watch. Barris on the attack, and he had the queen to drop. So a knight would be quite. Oh, that's a pretty good move. He has the bishop supporting the queen. Yeah, I'd be astounded if Barris didn't get mate here. The rook is going to clinch it. Either way the king goes, rook can come in on the diagonal to mate Loch-and-Quay. Ibrat is up time. He can stall. Rook at d8 is mate. Our score now 1-0, favoring Ibrat's team. Barris does outrate Loch-and-Quay by about 200 points. So we expect Ibrat's team, by rating at least, to have an edge. This is first to 15 with a win by 2 condition. They're playing at a 3-minute time control. Ibrat has sacked, and the queen comes immediately, so that sack is going to pay off. Mate in 2. That was a quick win. Ferrarifan did not develop his king's bishop, which is why he got into especially huge trouble after this sack. He also didn't communicate with his partner that a queen was bad. I don't know if these guys are on a call with one another. I would assume so. Communication is key in Bughouse. Definitely want to talk to your partner. Some trades have happened on Ferrari's board. This king, not too happy. Ibrat going to attack on the dark squares. Oh, this is going to be death for sure. The fact that this bishop has not come out, again, develop the king's bishop is just super key in Bughouse. Without the king's bishop developed, you don't have the left square go into the light squares. So your king is stuck on a dark square basically forever. And all the other guy needs to do is pound you with diagonals. And you're going to get mated eventually. Barris is attacking, picks up a free knight in the process. Knight wins queen. Oh, he doesn't wait for a knight. Could have forked the queen off. Probably Barris is just gonna focus on trading as much as possible so that Ibrat can win. Diagonal's still very good. Ibrat switching to defending. These queens could trade off and rook come over. The problem is that would mate Loch-and-Quay right now. Oh, Barris picked up a free queen with a knight fork. And that queen can come in to attack. Well, Ferrarifan picks up a queen for free while attacking. Gets the rook file. Unfortunately, Loch-and-Quay is mated just as Ferrarifan gets a really good position. Knight does mate for Ferrarifan, but they are down time, so it's not going to come. He's trying to get a chessmate here. They are up a little bit of time, about 3 seconds. I don't think it's going to be enough. Oh, maybe it is enough. Ibrat did not see this move. This is mate. It's pre-movable. Queen takes rook. No blocker. Actually, with no blocker, you can just pre-move queen takes g7. That's mate. That's the only move. So that is a win for Ferrarifan and Loch-and-Quay. It's not going to be a clean sweep here. We have a match. Our score 2-1, favor in Ibrat. Ferrarifan finally gets his king's bishop out. So this king is going to be much better defended. Ibrat likes to sack. Oh, he doesn't sack this time. Still, he has that great knight outpost square. If I were Ferrarifan, I would try to get my knight out and have at least the option of castling. Queen trade on offer on the Loch-and-Quay board, and they do trade the queens. Loch-and-Quay already castled. This should be safer than some past games. Loch-and-Quay trying to go in on the dark squares, but Barris is pretty well defended. So the bishop can just capture backwards here. I think knight check on h3 would be good for Barris. Knight check, pawn takes, knight check, then take bishop. And you are losing a pawn, but it first of all exposes Loch-and-Quay's king more. And it also got rid of this bishop on f4 that was one of Loch-and-Quay's attacking pieces. So it helps get Barris safer in the process, which is what we saw here. Oh, we are getting a match request. Let's go ahead and go over this guy's profile. We're going to block him. We're going to decline the match request. Go fuck yourself. So back to the game here. This pawn was hanging. Rook takes pawn was a possibility. But we have a bishop on a central square. A nice place for it. Ferrarifan is attacking. He could force a queen trade whenever he wants. Loch-and-Quay already has one queen. Ferrarifan and Loch-and-Quay are up time. So you really have to play knight takes here. King takes is mate in one. I mean, I guess you can move the king away. Okay. I think the queen's, I assume, going to come in. He could play bishop up, but I think queen in is probably safer. If you play bishop up, I wonder if you sack the queen for the knight, and then your partner trades a bit. Yeah, queen takes knight is a definite possibility here. Takes the pawn there. That's a little bit slow. Bears may have mate here. I don't necessarily like this bishop move. I thought knight at f2 was a good possibility. Okay, so now he's locking this king in. But now Loch-and-Quay could attack. Loch-and-Quay needs some trades. Oh, his partner has mate also. Loch-and-Quay doesn't need to move. I mean, this king looks sad. And we are all tied up now, 2-2. Following that win by Ferrarifan Loch-and-Quay. I'm going to jump into a channel in the house Discord server, in case anyone wants to co-commentate with me. Loch-and-Quay is defending. That's mate, right? Queen at h6. I think rook in is best since he already has a rook. Rook at g7. Maybe not quite mate, but looks really good. Queen trade on offer. After the queen trade happens, though, if queen takes, you can put a queen on the back rank with no blockers. Oh, Loch-and-Quay needs to move. Oh, that He took way too much time here. I think if Loch-and-Quay stuck a rook on the back rank, at least they would have had a chance. His partner's pretty dead, though. Maybe they were just dead no matter what. Alright, our score 3-2, favoring Ibrat. His first to 15. Oh, this bishop could take a rook. Or we could see something come in on e2. We have a knight outpost on e5. Attacking this pawn. This queen might be chased around a bit, though. You might see, like, bishop at d2, for example. If a heavy is ever good for Ibrat, Ferris can always take it. Did this king go over to h1? That's a bit of a weird move. Especially with the knight sitting on e4. Queen for 2 pieces on the Loch-and-Quay board. Loch-and-Quay continue to put pressure. This knight move. I like it. You're attacking the queen. You're also attacking f2, h2. A lot of key squares there. Whoa, he has 2 knights in hand. Before taking back, like, recapture just seems natural, but you might as well drop a knight on this f2 square. It's check. Always look for checks instead of recaptures. This should be mate. I think just queen in and then knight check is going to lead to a pretty quick mate. The other possibility is knight at h3. He's going to go the knight at h3 route. He does have another knight in hand. Yeah, this should be a really easy mate. If king up, you have knight at h4. If king over, I think another pawn would make it easy. You could just play pawn at g2. Pawn at g2 would be pre-movable. Ferrarifan on the attack. Ibrat down time. He's going to have to try to run. This king is a little bit hard to check. The problem is Ferrarifan is now down a bunch of time. So Loch-and-Quay needs to try to live, and he can't live. He's made it in one move. Queen at g2. Queen at g2 is the better pre-move because it covers both squares the king can go to. Alright. Our score is now 4-2, favoring Ibrat and Barris. And we see a sack. Queen trade on offer. Ferrarifan is sacked as well. Gets his rook into the game. So instead of putting a pawn here, I think you should have considered a bishop because it could defend as well as attack. But always look for these multi-purpose moves when you can. Natural move for Ibrat later on is to bring his bishop out checking because it gives some more left squares to his king. Another natural move would be to drop a new bishop in, attacking and defending some of these key dark squares. Barris would like a knight. Really the only safe king is Barris's king right here. All the other 3 kings are a bit under attack. Ibrat's king probably safe in the absence of a rook. I think they're stalling right now because Ferrarifan would like to play knight new knight at d6 to get a check without the rook, supported by his knight. The problem is giving that knight to Barris would be devastating for his partner. So he's going to wait till his partner has a chance to defend a bit. And they may set this down all the way. When I say sit this down all the way, it's the diagonal clocks that matter. So we see if neither player moved, then Barris would run out of time before Ferrarifan. So Ferrarifan would win the game. But Barris has to move at some point. And sitting it down means they might turn it into a mouse race by waiting until there's like 3 seconds left and then bulleting out a bunch of moves. Or Barris could just move like right now. Okay, Barris moves. He tries to keep the pressure up on the light squares. This seems like a reasonable move. This seems like too slow of a move. Ferrarifan chooses to load up on the dark squares to make his king safer. They're still up, and a knight was not given, although this square was defended, so you can't drop a new knight in anymore. This rook move is interesting. He's looking to move the bishops to open up the rook, I guess. That's just a free pawn. Barris really needs this knight. Wow, the knight was given. I don't think that was a good decision. This is getting wild due to the long sit down. Oh, no, I guess there wasn't mate. Okay. Oh, knight could have come out here before. Okay, there's mate on the right board. So this isn't mate because of knight takes. Ferrarifan missed a few mates there. Just got a gifted subscription to a random channel. Don't know what that's about, but thank you. I mean, not to my channel, but me can get gifted to another person's channel. Okay. I am pretty active on Twitch, not just as a streamer, but also as a viewer. But it always seems odd to me when I get gifted a subscription to a channel that I don't watch. Okay, very aggressive moves by Ibrat. Ibrat's probably going to trade the queen for 2 pieces here to relieve some pressure and also get some pieces for his partner who is on the attack. This queen is tempoed, it retreats. I think the knight was better on d6. Yeah, I don't like these moves from Ibrat recently. This queen can just retreat all the way. He gave up a lot of material, and he could have achieved the same result giving up less material. In other words, he could have won the same amount of pieces, losing less pieces. Queen takes pawn seems like a thing. Now you might even sack the queen for the knight, because the knight is the most active piece of Loch-and-Quay, and the knight would help Ibrat to attack. Instead, he's going to move the queen to the back. That makes sense too. And now something might land on d1, maybe a bishop. Fork has happened. Maybe waiting for a rook. They are down time though. Loch-and-Quay up a significant amount of time. Looks like, what, 12 seconds, 13 seconds? And managed to avoid the rook anyway. Barris retreats. The priority of Loch-and-Quay should be getting these pieces on the board. They have a huge piece advantage. due to the previous sacks. And they also have a time advantage. Just get all the pieces on the board. It makes your king safe, adds to threats. Oh, this is a huge threat. I like Loch-and-Quay's position a lot. Ferrarifan ought to be stalling here. Eventually he could just play bishop takes pawn. I don't think there's any mates here. I guess an idea for Ibrat would be knight at f8, try to deflect the rook, and then try to get like a queen or a rook for e7. But they are down a significant amount of time. I think Ferrarifan is just going to stall the rest of the game. Loch-and-Quay can just win at chess up like 4 pieces. So Barris wants a break so that his partner can reconnect. Don't think that's going to be a problem. Barris says his partner will be back. So Ibrat had a bad connection apparently. Our score right now is 5-3, favoring Ibrat and Barris. So, what happened that last game was Barris was attacking. Ibrat traded a lot of pieces to help his partner's attack, but in the process he lost a bunch of pieces. And then when Barris's attack deteriorated, suddenly they found they were down a ton of pieces. Ibrat also had a bad connection, which probably contributed in part to them being downtime. So downtime in pieces. Once their opponent just consolidated, it was game over. So we're at 5-3 favoring Ibrat. We're about a third of the way through the match. It is first to 15. Rook would be very good for Barris, but they are down time. Rook at g7. This diagonal, very powerful. Looks like they may still have connection problems because this is a double sit, which is very odd. In general, when one person on your team is stalling, the other person should be playing. And with both of them stalling at the same time, they're getting down more and more time on the diagonal clocks. Barris is asking whether this game should count because his partner is disconnected. I am not the arbiter for the challenger section. I am the arbiter for the open groups. So it's not really my place to say anything here. To be honest, I don't think it will matter much. I mean, Barris and Ibrat, their team already have the lead. So even if their opponents get this one game due to their bad connection, I don't think it's going to determine the match. I think one problem though is that Barris is talking during the game. He seems to think that his opponents can see the discussion. I don't think they can see what he's saying during the game. They're gonna have to talk between the game. So after this game, I guess I'll tell them to hold on and make sure they know what's going on. from Ferrarifan and Loch-and-Quay's point of view, I don't think they know about the huge connection issue. I think because they didn't see those tells. Uh, so I'm telling them. Oh, I was gonna type something here, but Ferrarifan says they can have a few minutes. I'm not gonna butt in. Barris and Ibrat, they're wondering whether the last game counts. And I really don't think it matters. If it were up to me, I would say it should not count, but it is not up to me. So I don't want to act as if it's up to me. So Barris is asking what the score is. If all those games counted, it would be 5-4. Barris is saying he thinks it should be 5-3 or 5-2. Loch-and-Quay is saying 5-4. He's saying all games should count. Now Ibrat's coming back. He's saying wait. Yeah, so it's So Loch-and-Quay pointed out that this chess.com favors people from the US with the connection. I'm telling them I don't think these two games will decide the outcome of the match. But basically, Loch-and-Quay is saying he understands they have connection problems, but Loch-and-Quay has also had connection problems in the past, and it's kind of just a roll of the dice. I mean, Barris and Ibrat are the favorites by rating, so we expect them to do well over the course of the match and probably make up these losses. Ibrat and Barris is still winning even after the two connection problems. Barris's trade on f3 has undermined Loch-and-Quay's king. In the meantime, Loch-and-Quay trying to win some material, but his king is in a lot of danger. So a knight would be very good for Barris. Very good in that it would checkmate right now. Barris's king is much safer, though he did give up some material in the process. Barris is up 10 seconds. Queen can be forced. Queen mates in 1. They've taken a rook. Rook is not as good, but it's still pretty good. Here comes the queen. Queen is going to mate in 1. They're up 6 seconds. And this is pre-movable. There it is. So our score now 6-4, favoring Ibrat. Ferrarifan picks up a knight. Barris picks up a free pawn on his board in the center. I probably would take this and then put a new bishop at g5, which is what we see. Pawn at h5 seems good. Oh, instead, pawn at g7, take a free piece. I like bishop at f6, new bishop at f6. It picks up the queen and a piece. Maybe not the queen, the king could slide, but I don't like bishop at g7 as much. You still pick up the queen, but you don't get an extra piece in the process. So we could see the queen come out, although then the king could be vulnerable. It looks like Ibrat's trying to get a heavy for his partner, and they're slightly up. The queen would just be game over with queen at f6 and knight at h6. So it's mate in 2. I'm wondering if there is something else here. Like, even a bishop is pretty crushing. Okay, he's going to put the knight on the board. The knight is defended, by the way. The bishop is not. One possibility is to just play h4. Defends the bishop. Your king is still safe because the queen is still back here. And this king is kind of in a vice grip. And then like a rook is forced, so a rook at h6 is the threat, as is rook at f6. So I do like the idea of h4 here. You know, a more aggressive move might be like queen g4, but then your opponent could attack you. I like h4. He could also just stall. Just stalling could also work. There's a rook at g7. King has to come up. And I'm assuming mate would happen. Wow, okay. Queen in. Now a bishop is quite good rather than the rook. Queen is forced. Queen comes next move. They're up 3 seconds. Queen of g5 is mate. I think they're going to wait for it. Maybe up 2 seconds rather than 3 seconds, but it's enough for sure. Again, I'm sure queen takes queen is pre-moved. What? Okay, so they pick up more time there. Same threat. There's the queen. I'm going to flag instead. All right, I score 7-4, favoring Ibrat and Barris. So I played this construction that Ferrarifan is playing. The difference is here I would have castled and kicked the knight. I like to take with pawn instead of with knight. Just to leave a knight on the board defending, and so you don't get this, give up this free pawn. But yeah, now I'm not playing this like Ferrarifan. And this is gonna pick up a free knight or a free pawn. Ferrarifan sacks some more material. Here, Ibrat does need a blocker. Blocker very likely to come though. They're up time. You gotta take this. Knight takes knight, I assume. Oh, he takes with king. That's a bit adventurous. Knight still defends here though. He's safe enough. Sacks a pawn to draw the queen back. This rook could fall, and it does. So offering the queen in exchange for an attack, which at worst wins the queen back, and at best maybe you checkmate. I mean, if the king comes up, you have knight check. If the king comes back, you can exploit the pin and just drop another pawn in. This looks pretty good for Ferrarifan. The big problem is lock and key. Oh, lock and key is mate. Knight check. Okay. I was going to say lock and key had an unsafe king, but he's attacking, so lock and key gets mate. Our score now 7-5, favoring Ibrat and Barris. Probably a sack. Oh, Barris doesn't sack here. Interesting. Lock and key gets the castle. Barris pushes old Harry the H-pawn. Now we get a sack. I don't think this sack is nearly as good. And lock and key is the one attacking. Another knight would be good for lock and key, or a rook or a queen. Oh, he gets the bishop out. Are we gonna, I assume we trade these. Bishop takes bishop. Now bishop at g3 is good. Pawn at f2 is good. Lots of options. Lock and key. Oh, takes the queen. The queen mates for his partner. Ibrat did not expect a queen to come. All right, our score 7-6, favoring Ibrat and Barris. Ibrat playing very quick moves. Only used 3 seconds the entire game so far. We're still guarding the square. Taking the bishop. I assume the knight hops in. You could castle, potentially. And the rook would also be pointed down. He just drops a new rook in. Also works. This pawn move seems to do a good job guarding. Oh, knight can hop back. I think that was mating, in fact. Knight back, bishop check, and then pawn would mate. That was a big miss from Barris. I mean, don't get me wrong, Barris still has a nice attack. But Barris is running out of pieces. Loch-and-Quay has lots of extra pieces. Barris, not many. Time is fairly close. So Ferrarifan picking up some free material, but his partner's now mated. Bishop at g2 is going to be mate. And the time is close, so Ferrarifan not going to have enough time to win on his board. Our score 8-6, favoring Ibrat and Barris. We're about halfway through the match, first to 15. This queen on a critical diagonal. Knight is crushing. There's the knight. Queen takes. That's mate in 2. I don't know what Barris is waiting for. Here it is. Mate in 1. Yeah, so that knight just came at a very unlucky time when the king was vulnerable. Our score now 9-6, favoring Ibrat and Barris. This is a hanging knight. I don't know why Loch-and-Quay just hung his knight. Not only that, okay, knight mates, knight plus pawn mates. Knight at h3. There's a knight right here. Hard to go for. There's not really up enough time for it. I like this bishop move. Keeps everything secure. Now, you have a few options. Okay, queen takes was one of the options. The other option was pawn at e2, or you could trade the bishops and then drop pawn at e2. We still have this knight threat. Also pawn at e2, still a threat. I think Ibrat should have tried to win a queen for his partner. Bishop at e7 would win a queen. But even the rook is going to be good enough. You have pawn check with a threat of rook mate. Also when knight is threatened. Okay. Bear's going to keep moving. I think can take a free rook or free queen. He has a lot of options. Time is fairly close though. Maybe he'll just wait for the rook for mate. I think pawn takes d1 is a safe move. It maintains the threat. But he could also stall. Well, actually, he's down time. Barris is going to need to make a move or two. So there's a few options. Either you play pawn takes d1, or you play pawn takes f1, and then pawn takes queen, and then bishop check. I don't think it's a good strategy for them to sit it down. Ibrat is fairly safe, even though this rook is in here. King has a lot of room to run, and these squares are covered. Ibrat's mission is to trade for his partner. And this queen may help him mate too. Okay, he's going to play the bishop out. I don't like bishop out first. Okay, well now we can take f1 a bunch of times. I assume we're taking this rook. Ibrat is attacking too. Ibrat gets mate. So it worked out. Our score 10-6, favoring Ibrat Barris. I hate this sack because this sack is with check, and it's just a stronger check. The bishop has not come out yet. I think Ibrat's going to win this pretty easily. You have pawn check. This is also reasonable. You have knight check. Easy mate for Barrett. Did give a queen, but the queen didn't matter because Loch-and-Quay never dropped it on the board. It's like the queen didn't exist. Our score 11-6, favoring Ibrat Barris. It is first to 15. Replacing this bishop on f8 was a big concession because the whole point of getting the bishop out early was that you can't be mated by just diagonals. Takes a queen. Ibrat actually has a queen. It's also winning a queen. Barris is up time, so it looks like he's going to stall. He can use some of these. Oh, his partner has mate with queen at c5. There it is. There's also pawn at c5 if his partner can take any pawn. Our score 12-6, favoring Ibrat Barris. Ferrarifan picks up a free knight. Barris has sacked. These light squares are like Swiss cheese. Oh, that bishop is going to be huge. So, oh, there was actually better. So this was the logical move, but an even better move would have been pawn at d7. And then if knight takes, another pawn would mate. Pawn on f7 because the queen is out. All right, so now, oh, I hate this bishop move. You could have bishop checked, worked off the knight, and won the knight. I hate this knight move. Knight was much better on g5. I mean, he seems to be going after the queen when he should be going after the king. I assume we're going to see some pawns on light squares. Pawn at d5. Okay, he's taking a rook, maybe trying to help his partner to mate. Are we going to take this? I'm sure Ferrarifan would love to be greedy and take the queen, but he just can't afford that. His partner is pretty dead. That happens. Here comes a queen. Queen's going to mate for Barris, but Barris is down time. Barris needs to roll out a few moves before he gets that queen. And he doesn't have pieces to play with. So he needs to get his king safe. I'd probably play knight out to give you the option of castling either side. Let this rook guard some. Problem is if you castle immediately, then all of a sudden Loch-and-Quay might start attacking with like pawn at f3. But yeah, we see the knight move. Queen grabs a free pawn. Also defends this. Loch-and-Quay needs to... Okay, I assume we take... Oh, wow, he's coming in. Now castling happens. I don't like this pawn move. I think a knight belonged there. And now they're down time. So all of a sudden, bears can wait for the trades. He just takes. The queen could come in at e6, but he would prefer to put a bishop there. Okay, he retreats actually. So bear's actually defending because his partner is maiden. Now we have pawn mate on e4. Bears just needs to survive. Bears is up time. Bears can stall actually. All right, our score 13-6. Favoring Ibrat Bears. First to 15. So this match could be wrapped up pretty quickly. Ibrat sacking. No surprise, he's sacked a lot before. Bear's picking up a free queen. Ferrarifan actually pretty safe even after the sack. Well, used to be safe. He used to have 2 bishops guarding his light squares, but not anymore. He takes this way so as not to create a hole on e6. Ibrat defends his king instead of attacking. New pawn comes in. This king is getting a little adventurous. I think he really should get the queen out somewhere. This queen needs to get in the game. Ferris is playing without half his pieces, as he hasn't developed very much. But Ibrat has mate, so it doesn't matter. He can even get mate without dropping any pieces with knight b5. Ferris, I think, is up time. If not, down by a second. You just take this pawn. Fairly safe. There's nothing else coming for Lock-and-Key. Ferris is up 2 seconds. Doesn't need to move anymore. He uses a pawn instead of moving the knight. Still mate. Our score 14-6, favoring Ibrat Bears. This is match point. This is a really terrible move by Lock-and-Key. So any pawn crushes. I don't know why he did such a thing, especially in a match point situation. If I were Bears, though, I would not sit it down. You could just retreat the knight. I mean, this still creates a weakness, even if the knight moves away. I wouldn't give up material for this. Ibrat threatening some trades anyway, eventually. I mean, if you want to keep the attack, you could play queen up, but there's no need to do that. And he wisely retreats. Now he should go after these light squares, which he does. Got a bishop battery. Bishop can move down. Ferris wants some trades. Even pawns are crushing. I like pawn at g7 here. He plays it. This is a free rook and then a free queen. We're getting a 10-minute match request. Go fuck yourself. Match points, I'm going to focus on the game, but obviously I'll block you afterwards. So Bear's trying to open up the rook file. It's actually surprising how many pieces Loch-and-Quay has to drop, because Bears has won a ton of pieces on his board, but I guess Ibrat has sacked a ton of pieces because somehow Loch-and-Quay seems to be, up pieces after all the pieces he lost. Yeah, I was just going to suggest that rook takes to threaten promotion. A clever move. You could take this bishop to undermine the king more. Maybe he doesn't want to give a rook for Ferrarifan. Barris is downtime though. Barris is going to need to roll out some moves. I think you just play rook takes bishop, then castle, something like that. Yeah, I don't understand these moves from Barris. He just lost some material. With the queen off the back rank, all of a sudden, we could see some attacks. Loch-and-Quay starting to put these pieces on the board, which is a good idea. Oh, that's going to be mate. Bishop mate. Loch-and-Quay got a little bit too eager attacking when he wasn't well defended. That is GG's. Alright, let me go over to this guy who joined 3 minutes ago and already sent me a match request. It would be his first game ever. He's obviously a troll. Go fuck yourself. Alright, GG's to the players. So our final score is 15-6. Davrin, Ibrat, and Barris. And Ibrat and Barris would argue that it should have been 15-4 because they would say they lost 2 of these games due to connection problems. But the score doesn't matter that much. It's about who won the match. In this case, it is Ibrat Barris. So congratulations to them. They're moving on to round 2. Let's pull up the bracket and see what's going on here. Oh my gosh, it looks like NGS Bling is streaming, so it'd be nice to send him a raid. But first, let's wrap this up by letting you guys know what's happening coming up. First of all, on Saturday, we have 2 matches in the open section. We have Reza CZ and Zidibu versus Mena Souza and Zoraz 4. We also have a match with PKNM and Papa Pizza, and they're playing the mayor and I forget who the other guy is, but both those matches are on Saturday. I should be covering both of them, so I hope you all will join me. Okay, so the winner of this, I'll just put in this into the challenger. Let me drop a link in the chat for those who want to see the challenger bracket. So the winners of this match, Ibrat and Barris, will be playing against 918 Evo and Dreyfus 2. Players have until March 31st to schedule their round 2 matches. So matches we still have yet to see in the challenger section are I Like Bughouse and Jackbrook versus Ovidiak and Mahelandre. and also I Am Frosty, and also we haven't seen I Am Frosty and Is Lutego Garoda versus Esmeralda Anderson and Lopez Lewis. So round 1 is wrapping up. We're looking forward to round 2. All right, let me check to see NGS Bling is still streaming, because if so, this would make sense as a raid. Looks like he is. We're gonna send you guys to our friend NGS Bling. He's a Bughouse player, and he lives in Georgia, so I've played Bughouse with him many times over the board. He's also very good at chess. He's a national master. I haven't really seen him stream much before, so it's good to see him getting into it. So show him some love. Tell him you want to see him play some Bughouse. Have a great day, everyone. Bye, guys.